This podcast was recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
Welcome back, Mabbers.
Mabbers.
To another week of Mad About You.
Mab.
Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, it's a bloody pleasure
What
to
do you
have you
think?
with us.
Sorry.
What?
Finish? Are you finished?
Yeah.
What do you think most people are doing when they listen?
Well, I don't know. I like listening pods when I train, when I drive, or, when Fletch was a newborn, if I was, had him sleep on me or settling him or something like that.
Is anyone on the toilet?
Probably you. You spend about half an hour on there at the moment.
That's ironic coming from you,
You
truly.
could listen to one of our whole pods, actually. Guys, this week on Mad About You, we have, I would say, an episode inspired by a listener, actually. So a listener sent me a link to a video online, which I watched it and I lost it at this video. I thought it was so funny. And then I was like, this is the perfect idea for an episode. So the video was pretty much this guy reacting to things that people had sent in, and they were unhinged things that they had done to an ex-partner.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a different one because we've done, things in the past which are like crazy things your ex had done, or, where you were kind of shitting on other people. But this one is a little bit different because you're actually having to go, I did this thing which was a little bit crazy and unhinged,
You're
which is
confessing.
interesting.
It's
And
a
I dare say
confessions
there were a lot of responses, maybe a little bit less than some other ones, because I think probably some of you thought about things you'd done and went, oh, crazy, maybe I won't share that. But as always, anything that you guys send us always does stay anonymous. Thankfully, these are anonymous because I reckon some of you might get in trouble.
Do you think Confessions by Usher Part 1 or Part 2 is better?
I don't know what that means.
You know the songs? These are my confessions.
Is there a part 2?
Yeah. What do you mean he follows up the whole story?
I didn't know the first one was a
Unbelievable. Okay, we're listening to that on the way home. Sorry, guys. I thought Locke would help out a bit more there.
But guys, before we get into those fun stories, we are ending the episode by getting a little bit deeper with our Ask Mum and Dad, whereby a listener needs help deciphering the intricacies around breakups and moving on potentially too fast, and is a little bit wary about becoming maybe a revenge rebound.
Oh.
So it is actually a really good one, which I'm looking forward to. But before we get into the fun stuff, Jad's told me that she's got a bit of a gear to grind.
I have a confession of my own. And some people aren't going to like it, guys. I'm really sorry for the feathers I'm about to ruffle, but I just keep seeing this and it's really bugging me, and I don't know why people do it, but I have a problem with people taking deadpan, really serious wedding photos.
What's your issue with it?
Why do you look so angry on your wedding day? Like, what have you got against smiling on your wedding day? I think it's so weird when people do these weird, posy, voguey, are you trying to make it into a magazine, wedding photos? But, it's your wedding day. Smile.
So for people that don't understand, you're talking about wedding photos that people share online where they're not happy or smiling. They're just deadpanning to the camera.
Sure, a bit of a smolder's fine every now and then. But I'm talking people who, every photo is you're not smiling. You're deadpanning. It's like you're trying to make an editorial situation happen. You're both staring into a distance, or your whole wedding party is just staring at the camera. I've literally seen photos where
not just bride and groom.
The whole wedding party is just deadpanning the camera, trying to smolder or something. I'm like, why? It's the happiest day of your life, and you're giving, I care more about looking sultry. I think that's just so odd.
I think the oddest part about that is reflecting on it. You and I have a few times gone through our wedding album, and it's a nice little day to relive because it does go by so fast, and you probably miss heaps of little moments. But yeah, the nicest part is seeing everyone giggle and laugh and mouths wide open, and people joking around.
Capturing the life of the day, which is beautiful and happy and joyous. And instead you're capturing
Imagine it's 6 months later and you go, let's go through the album, and you're going through and everyone's just looking miserable.
That's what I mean. It's so odd to me. And each to their own. Everyone's got different vibes. You want to emit a vibe for you. But any other day, go and do an editorial.
The thing is, you say everyone wants to admit their own vibe. I wasn't thinking about emitting a vibe our wedding day. I was just there having a good time.
It feels forced. Exactly. That's what I mean. It's instead of enjoying the moment, looking at each other, having fun and then having that moment captured, it's how posed can we make this? And I feel like you could just, if you really want to have a photo shoot where all your friends look cool, go and pay for someone and direct a photo shoot.
That would be weird. No one's doing that.
I think it's weirder to not be happy on your wedding day.
How many people do you think like go down that path of the deadpan, emit serious, sultry vibes, and then 6 months later look at their photos and go, oh, these are grim. Like,
I don't know.
I wish I didn't do that.
I feel like they're doing it because they really like it for whatever reason.
Yeah, but they might like the idea of it. That's what I'm saying. How many do you think look at it and
go,
regret
I wish we
the
were
idea?
happy.
Yeah. Well, they probably were happy still. Like they're just putting out something false temporarily in the 0.1 of a second that it takes to snap a photo.
I don't know. Maybe some people regret it. Maybe some people go, that was mad. We look sick. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think looking back, if I had just sultry photos of a wedding day, I'd be like, oh, it looks like everyone's having a horrible time. Like, I'd be double guessing if anyone was actually enjoying themselves. But because I think you specifically said to our photographers as well, you said, like, I want you just to capture moments and, like, candid, parts of the day. That's what makes it special. And it also makes it, when you're looking through those photos, it makes it more enjoyable to relive because it's like this little movie that you watch. Every photo you go through tells, like, a little story instead of everyone, like, turning to the camera, deadpanning, and then getting back to having a good time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I probably agree with you in the sense that I think it's pretty weird, but at the same time, each to their own.
That's
if
what I mean.
If they're paying for the photographer and it's their wedding, do whatever you want.
Like at the end of the day, it's your wedding and you can choose to do that. But every time I see these kinds of photos, I'm like,
if you were in the wedding party and they asked you to deadpan, what would you do?
Well, I'd deadpan because, you got to put your work face on.
But you gotta stand your ground as well and go, hey guys, I don't believe in this.
That's not the time and place to go, guys, I think we should do everything differently.
But maybe that was just one person's idea then, and the other 10 grooms people and, groom ladies just, I forgot their name, bridesmaids. It came to me. Groom ladies, yeah. Maybe they all hated it as well, but just, the bride or groom wanted a deadpan shot. So maybe everyone actually secretly agrees.
You're right.
So
I think we should throw it to the groom ladies next time, see what they think.
All right, guys, let's get into some of your confessions.
I literally just said that.
And thank God they are anonymous. All right, our first one says, when I was 18, my boyfriend of 2 years broke up with me out of the blue. After the breakup, I decided to sign him up to any and every annoying email subscription you can think of, from gay porn sites to erectile dysfunction support groups. My favorite one was a quit smoking program, which actually disallowed you from opting out for a minimum of 2 months after signing up. In hindsight, this was very petty, but I can't say that I regret it either.
That's hilarious. I love harmless crimes.
Yeah, that's harmless, but bloody hell, that would be annoying.
Yeah, it would. You'd have to get a new email.
Yeah, but
if it just kept coming in,
also,
you'd just think. You wouldn't think it was coming from them. That's what I love about it. I would never see all that and go, that's my ex. I would just think some platform that I've signed up to has sold my email to MailChimp or whatever, and they've sold it off, and now I'm just getting all these
I disagree.
spam emails.
If we had a fight one day, back in the day, we had this big argument and we left each other.
If?
Was a hypothetical something.
No, that's a real scenario. We had a big fight, left each other.
Yeah, sure. Okay. If let's say we're back there, we did that, and then suddenly I start getting countless emails from erectile dysfunction and support groups, I'd be like, this chick is unhinged.
No, you wouldn't.
I 1,000,000%
You would not connect that. I don't believe you for a second that you would connect that.
Just because your mind works in a certain way doesn't mean that mine has to work in that way. I would definitely go to that. I'd be like, I've never got any of these before, and now I haven't got one, I've got multiple. So obviously it's someone messing with me.
Maybe I was looking out for you.
The chances are it's this person that has an issue with me. So
yeah, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that. I would just think that I've made it to a spam account or something.
I'm not saying this dude knew, but yeah, I agree. It's out of all these ones, it is one of the more harmless ones. But I just think to myself as well, that's a lot of time and effort. So I feel like you might be a little bit hung up on him still if you're trying to get back at him. Because I think
she said out of the blue after 2 years, I'd be hung up. I'd be very confused. Where's the closure?
Yeah, but
Why?
I've had breakups out of the blue before, and once it happens, you sort of, you might try and see what went on and maybe try to get back with them, but I wouldn't be putting time and effort into, not even messing with their life, just doing these tiny little annoyances. Like that just seems a bit odd, but I'm sure it was a funny one for your group chat and stories for your girlies.
I think good idea. I like it. Okay, the next one says, so my ex cheated on me, and at the time I was strapped for cash, carefully budgeting for a $100 knitted jumper I wanted to buy online. My ex had moved away for a high-paying job in a mine, and after I completed my purchase, I noticed that the money hadn't been deducted from my account. I thought that was strange. I went ahead and bought something else, and once again, no deductions. This person's just
Magic.
like, wow, free money, woo! That's when I realised my ex's card was still saved in my Shopify account, so every time I made a purchase, it was charging him instead of me. I got a bit too confident, buying nice skincare, etc., and as I kept shopping, he eventually caught on about a month later and messaged me asking if it was me using his card. I feigned ignorance and act like I had no idea what was happening. The worst part, I had to pay him back, but I didn't want him to know I was broke and not living my best life, so I ended up using my mortgage repayments to pay him back, and honestly, I can't even remember how I pulled it all off and survived. Oh no, that came back and bit you in the ass, didn't it?
I get the first time it's a mistake, but when you realize and then you start spending someone else's money, how did you think that was going to go?
She was like, woo! Yeah, I know. It was kind of, you walked into that one a little bit, didn't you?
Like I'm regularly on banking apps, transferring money around, paying different people.
I get
invoices,
notified when I
things,
make purchases, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
it goes ding.
what's that popping up on his screen that he bought something from Sephora and he's like, that's not me.
Yeah.
And then you're buying other things from probably your favourite shops, which maybe he's seen you purchase things from in the past.
You know what? Also, if he asked if it was her, who else could it have been? Who else has his
She said
card?
she feigned ignorance, so maybe she didn't.
Details.
That's not saying that she said it wasn't her. That could kind of say, I didn't know your card was still attached.
No, I know,
Do you
but
what
he's
I mean?
asking if it was her. Like, surely you'd just know.
No, you might think someone got your details.
I mean, how many other cheeky babes have you got? That's
A
what I wanna
scam
know.
thing. I remember. Okay, this is a bit off topic, but when you said like it could, who else could it have been? I remember working with a security guard who told me that one of his friends went to jail because what he would do was walk into like a 7-Eleven or a convenience store, and he'd ask the guy at the desk, who might have been a staff member, an employee, not necessarily owner, if he could put a chip card reader on their machine and pay him like 10 grand cash. And he would get people's details, make cards, like replicas, and then go and spend money. So
Well,
it's
yeah,
in
that's
like,
theft.
That's something that could be happening. Obviously, that's
Sure, you're saying maybe he thought it was being
yeah,
scammed,
you're just
by
scammed
like
by someone, not necessarily the missus, but
a chick who really values skincare.
yeah. I mean, good on you for paying him back because that's
Well, she didn't have a choice.
that's a
did
nice
she?
part.
That sucks as well.
No,
You're
she
going,
definitely
la,
had a
la, la,
choice.
la, la, and
She
then you
could have
went
said
and-
no. Like you guys, which I still come back to every week, where you guys said
get
that you
over
wouldn't
it.
give an engagement ring back after you split up
You
with
don't
someone.
owe
That's
someone a
rogue.
gift back. What do you mean? That is a gift. If you, new situation, because you just keep coming bloody back to this. You've got a friend. You've bought them a really nice, let's say holiday, right? You've taken them on holiday. You spent thousands of dollars on them. You guys aren't friends anymore. Are you billing them for the holiday?
Is that the same as an engagement ring?
It's a gift though, right? Like you've given it to them.
Is an engagement ring a gift?
Yes.
It's not a gift. It's a solidification of like your relationship moving forward into this next thing. So if it's not moving forward into the next
But
thing,
it's not. You've
you
given
don't
it
get
away.
to keep that
It's not yours.
solidification.
You're saying here you go for you.
Yes, this is the ring that we're going to use to get married. If
In
we're
fact,
not
mine
getting
has my
married,
initials on it.
if
So.
we're not getting married, you don't get to have the ring because the ring is symbolic of the next step,
God.
which we're not
We
taking.
need to do a whole episode on this situation. Bring in a professional.
I actually can't believe you think you'd get to keep the ring. That's literally
No,
sicko.
I said it's circumstantial.
No,
We've been
it's
over
never
this.
circumstantial.
We've
You're
been over this.
a weird
If
unit.
you cheat
you're
on me, I'm
keeping it.
keeping the ring, and I'm
That's
buying more
fine.
with your card. Like this chick. And I'm not paying you back. Look, I think that's it's annoying that he found out, but also you you walked into that one. I
It's
would expect
annoying
you.
that he found out. What do you think he was just going to let
That's
his
what I mean.
money dwindle down to zero?
Yeah, well, exactly.
You tried, had a little bit of fun, and yeah, hopefully he didn't find out that you weren't living your best life because that's a little bit funny. All right, next one. It says, I popped stinky sardines down the little space in front of the windscreen wipers in his car after I found him cheating on me.
Love it. Perfect. That's stunning.
Jad's like, that's amazing. I'll write
That's
that one
really
down.
good. That's a really good idea because it's like just annoying enough to like really cause a bit of havoc, but also not life ruining.
Yeah, that to me is also like it's a harmless one, but I don't know, cheating, sardines, stinky car, that's probably well deserved. Like I
Yeah.
think nice. That's an issue that he would have had to deal
I think put more
with.
sardines other places.
You've actually just given Jad an idea for when I annoy her. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that would have been a tricky one if he tried to take other girls on dates and stuff in that car. So yeah. What?
Fish. Moving on. The next one says, My ex of 3 years ended up sleeping with one of my closest friends. Oh, God. So my best friend and I bought a microphone that also happened to have a police siren light on it and sounds. We decided to drive to his house, up his driveway onto the front porch with the mic connected to the auxiliary and call his full name out and claim that he was under arrest and needed to make his way to the front of the house immediately. We heard the panic set in inside and the lights turn on. So we then decided to throw eggs at the window and make a run for it.
Like all great cops do.
The eggs were like, that's just, how old
That
are
was
you?
like the prank was good and then you just kind of fumbled the bag.
Yeah,
Like,
and then like deface someone's property.
but also, I feel like if I heard that, I would almost not be worried because I know that I haven't done anything wrong to warrant police batting down my door in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you
right?
kind of be
So,
like, well, what's this about? Like, they've clearly got the wrong person.
yeah, it would have disrupted his sleep that night for sure, but he's actually now just got a story to tell all his friends about how crazy his ex-missus is. So I don't know if you necessarily won there
I'm cleaning eggs off
or
the
he
house.
won, but yeah, and just know, guys, if you hit people's cars with eggs, there's something about the egg that kind of really messes with the car paint. So a lesson learned as a kid, please don't do that, guys.
Well, this was the house. They threw the eggs at the house.
Yeah.
Is it the family house? Because that's kind of sad. What if his mum was lovely?
Yeah, I mean, that's just the risk that she was obviously willing to take.
You know what, though? He slept with the closest friend. We got to go back to that.
Yeah,
That's
to be
pretty
honest,
cooked.
most of these stories started with because he cheated on me.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I was like, oh, you almost have
Yeah,
free reign because I
yeah.
hate that stuff.
I don't
But,
know. Now that I remember that, I'm like, probably could have done worse.
Yeah, Jad's a big advocate for these now.
Come back around.
All right, next story. It says, my ex was a vegan. We were celebrating a late Valentine's dinner and I was mad he didn't get me anything. Plus, we had a shit overpriced vegan meal. So I broke up with him at the dinner. I had bought and given him a vegan cooking class for Valentine's and refunded it after we broke up. It was a 2-hour drive from our city, but I never told him that I cancelled it. Sometimes I do feel a bit guilty that I probably ruined Valentine's Day for him forever, but also that's life.
I don't know. That's not too bad.
Wait, making him drive 4-hour round trip for something? Not that bad.
No, well, maybe he never went.
No, that's the point she's making. She's saying she booked him this thing, a class on a date, gave it to him. He would have gone to it, and she cancelled it. So he would have gone, and then it not been on. They would have gone, we don't have you.
But
That's the
maybe
whole
she
point of
went
the
to
story.
maybe he went to book it, and because she refunded it, they would have gone, no, you don't have a booking. That's what I'm confused about.
Yeah, I don't think she wrote in this story because that's what happened, though. You know.
Yeah,
But I
I think making someone drive 4 hours because they're vegan is a bit much.
because they didn't buy you a present. You're like, well, enjoy this 4-hour drive, my friend.
Yeah.
The thing I actually, I wanted to chat about with this one. At the end where you said, I probably ruined Valentine's Day for him forever, but also that's life. I feel like you can't just say that's life when you've like potentially ruined something for someone forever. When it was also like, I understand you might have been a bit upset that he didn't buy you a gift on Valentine's Day. That is almost, a prerequisite of the day. That's maybe a conversation you could have had. You probably didn't need to try and ruin something for him forever. And then your justification is just saying, well, that's life. Because that's not necessarily just life,
I
So
don't know. Overpriced vegan meal would be pretty shit.
yeah, but ruining like a whole day for someone forever, I don't know if it's up there.
Yeah, I don't think the crime matches the punishment.
Yeah, the 4-hour drive, it's not crazy. It would have been annoying for him, but
4 hours is a long time.
if you were like, he cheated on me, 4-hour
no
drive, I would have been
outcome.
like, make it 6. Who cares? But just because he didn't get you a gift, well, I don't know if he needed the treatment. But
Yeah.
each to their own.
All
I
right.
guess that's life.
The next one says, a few weeks ago I made 30 insurance inquiries using my ex's number, then organised Jehovah's Witnesses to go visit him at 7 a.m. on a Sunday.
See, these people have way too much time.
If you've ever made any inquiry on any insurance company, you know that they are relentless.
Yeah.
They are calling you left, right, and centre from 30 different numbers waiting for you to pick up. They do not let down. So let off. So that's kind of really, really annoying.
That is heinous. But also, when someone calls me and I like I pick up obviously the first time to find out who it is, and I don't want to speak to them. I literally save the number as like X, do not answer.
What? Yeah, there's a block button, honey.
Is there?
Oh, God. How old are you?
I haven't been in that many toxic relationships to need it.
There's a block button. You can block phone numbers.
Oh, well, I think it's funnier.
Block's like save as do not answer. He's got 5 million do not answers
I just
in
think
his phone.
it's funnier that they call and waste their own time.
Yeah,
to try
that's
and
so
sell me
funny.
something that
Some poor person that's sitting behind the desk trying
Another
to make
thing,
money.
off topic, but sort of related, something that's really frustrated me lately with the election just happening is how many times I was contacted by phone via text message of candidates that shouldn't have my number and had obviously gotten it like the wrong way. And I just thought to myself, this has done the opposite of what you wanted. Because you messaging me on my private phone number that I didn't give you
I saw a news article
to
about this.
tell me to vote for you has actually made me not want to vote for you because I think
Yeah.
it's like really wrong.
It's a breach of privacy
That
vibes.
you've somehow purchased my details
Yeah.
off someone that shouldn't have my details and shouldn't be selling it to yourself to try and get gain from it. I just think it was so bad. And I've had that twice happen from two
If
different
it was the
candidates.
person you planned on voting for,
That would, hopefully their policy would outweigh the annoyance.
that's what I'm saying. Would it actually impact you that much, or are you still just, it happens to be someone you weren't going to vote for?
If I was diehard going to vote for them, I'd probably still vote for them.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm more saying the art of doing that, I think, is not good for them in the long run.
Yeah,
I think that
agreed.
like contacting people privately in a means that they haven't asked to be contacted, I think is actually detrimental to your campaign. So
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that, but
I
yeah,
find
I've had it
it
happen
annoying
twice
when
in
they
the last week.
campaign door knock as well. Like we had door knockers recently who came and said, vote for this person. And I was like, I'm at home in my pajamas trying to eat my lunch with the 3 minutes that I have when my, child is sleeping. Can we not do this right now?
Yeah, interesting. All right, our next one says, I found out my boyfriend of 2 years was cheating on me with another dude. So I cleaned the toilet with his toothbrush.
Oh, that makes me queasy.
Do you remember that time? I know our lovely producer will remember in
Bro,
maths a
it
few
was
years
on
ago.
maths.
And that guy did it on camera.
Yes.
Like, imagine someone's filming you, a
But
camera
also
crew.
to like someone that you hardly even know.
Yeah, and I don't actually remember what she did
Yeah.
to really irk him to do it.
I don't think it was cheating, was it?
No, I think she made some comment about his job being a truck driver and whether or not he could financially look after them both, or
And he went, "I'll clean
something.
the toilet
And he
with
just
toothbrush."
that really grinded him.
It
and
was
then
really gross.
he toileted her toothbrush, but he did it like, the camera crew was obviously
Yeah.
there, and he was
thought
kind
it
of
was
like,
really funny.
check this out, guys. And obviously all of Australia's like, whoa, man,
That's really sociopathic.
that's absolutely sick. But
Yeah.
obviously this person didn't watch that episode because I don't know if people would.
Also, boyfriend of 2 years cheating on you with, someone you wouldn't expect them to.
Yeah, it's already that's a lot to deal with.
I don't know if I'd
but-
ever clean someone's toilet with a toothbrush. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, I don't think I could either.
I don't know, maybe.
I love how you change your mind about
look,
these things.
I'm thinking, right, I'm married with a child. You've cheated on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's some things I would do, yeah. I might clean the toilet with your toothbruch.
But like, what I don't understand is, do you think that
With a
that's
bit of
really
gastro.
that's really got me back?
Yeah.
Like years of marriage, a child, love.
Oh, no, that would just
and-
be one of the things.
Oh, okay, and then
There's other things.
give us a couple. What else would I get?
I don't know. I just make life really hard for you somehow.
Awesome. Don't worry,
Don't.
you're safe.
Don't cheat on me.
All right, next story.
Oh, this is mine, sorry. A few years ago, when I was super annoyed at my then boyfriend, can't even remember what we were fighting about, I was cooking chicken schnitzel for dinner. I put the plate of raw chicken on the dining table and turned around to keep preparing the rest of dinner, and without my knowledge, my Jack Russell jumped up and stole one of the chicken breasts. I turned around to grab the plate and quickly realised he was licking one of the breasts on the floor. My first thought was to throw it away, but then I saw an opportunity for revenge, so I crumbed it up and served it up to him for dinner, and he was none the wiser and I felt a lot better. I actually fessed up to him a few weeks later because I felt so guilty. He thankfully thought it was super hilarious. Not long later, he asked me to be his wife.
That's got to be one of the best blokes on the planet.
That's nuts!
To think that's like funny is.
Oh,
I don't
also,
know,
she's
you
like,
got a
I'm super
weird-
annoyed. Like, he's not
Yeah.
going and,
He might have just like
Betrayed
said,
her.
I'm going to play golf, and instead of being
Yeah.
home in 4 hours, came home in 6, and she was like, oh, you're
Right.
getting salmonella.
here's some
my
dog
friend."
chicken.
Yeah, that is. You've obviously got a really nice guy there who one thought that was hilarious and then still wanted to marry you after that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
'Cause
crazy.
there
Must
was
have been really good chicken.
Yeah, that's the takeaway there. Yeah, you must be a really good cook. Yeah, I
I
don't
can't
know
say
if-
I would laugh that off.
Yeah.
Cannot say I'd laugh that off.
Yeah, if you told me that you did that, I'd be like, I think you need to go chat to someone. Like, you need help if you think that that's okay. And then she said it made her feel better. So she did it, watched him eat it, and was like, that's really calmed me down.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about that.
But then she felt guilty later on.
Well, understandably, that's not a very nice thing to do to someone.
Well, look,
But
they're married now, so that's lovely.
obviously, we understand that emotions get heightened and we do things that we don't always mean
Just
when we're
for
angry.
clarity, if you ever do that to me,
I would never do that to anyone. That's, let alone the person that I love that might have annoyed me
glad we
temporarily.
cleared that up.
All right, next one. It says, my toxic on and off again ex was always self-conscious of his hairline and balding. So when I knew things were finally over and after his wild toxic behavioral patterns, I signed him up to many hair implant websites with his phone number, email, and name. Still don't feel bad about it.
Oh.
Poor guy.
But, we don't know what he was doing.
So is okay.
Could be.
So cheating okay, just annoyed, not okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather this one, so like you get signed up to something you're super self-conscious about, or would you rather the 30 insurance guys calling you?
There's nothing in the world that I'd be that insecure about that would bother me that much, to be honest.
Okay, so just for all intents and purposes of this question,
I can't imagine being that insecure.
It's a hypothetical, so just pretend.
Okay, you want me to
had something
pretend
you
I'm
were
super
really
insecure?
insecure about. Holy moly, you're actually going to breathe into the mic and think about
The
it.
emails.
The 30?
Yeah, I'd prefer that over the phone call.
Wait, you would prefer that?
Over the phone calls, yeah.
No, the 30 insurance people calling you. You'd rather that or the email about something you're super insecure about?
The emails. I'd rather emails.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fair enough. What do you mean?
They delete them. Phone calls are annoying. They just keep coming.
Yeah, but reading them puts you in a real slump for the next week because it's a reminder that you're self-conscious about this thing. That's kind of the point.
Maybe I respond to one of them.
And say, what, sign up? Yeah. Holy moly, we've taken that's taking a path I didn't see it happening. But I mean, that seems like a little bit of a mean, toxic-y thing to do. Jad thinks, it might have been warranted depending on what he did to you.
Depends on what he did.
But it says toxic off again, on again.
On again.
But yeah, I mean, you didn't really tell us what was toxic about
Yeah.
it. So we're hard to know.
It's hard to judge.
Yeah, tricky one to prey on his insecurities like that, but I guess that's life.
So this is an unhinged story, but it's not something I've done to an ex, but what my partner's ex did to us. Months after their breakup, she had refused to give back his house key, and she let herself into the house when we weren't home and cut up all my clothes that were hanging in the cupboard, smashed his TV and his guitar.
Okay, so for our listeners, I got this one and I couldn't just let it go. I had to message her and say, like, you have to tell me what happened next. Like,
Yes.
did you guys, did you get arrested? Did you get charged? Like, and she actually said no because she said we had no proof, obviously. And obviously it wasn't a break and enter. So they knew it was her. And obviously you don't cut up a woman's clothes unless you're a disgruntled ex, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they said they had no security cameras, no footage. So it's just like, hey, it was this person. She can just go, no, it wasn't me, So they said nothing happened to her. But I think they said that after she, did this heinous act, she stopped sort of hassling them. But
You bloody hope you get it out after that. That's crazy.
that one would make me feel really unsafe, knowing that
100%.
someone that I wasn't close with, no longer in a relationship with, had access to my house.
Also,
I would literally change the locks immediately. That would make me feel really
same.
uncomfortable.
There's also something really intimate about cutting up someone's clothes, I feel.
Oh, really? I didn't.
It's just a really creepy message. They're your clothes, they're your belongings. You don't know how sentimental they are. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird
that would
one,
really,
but-
really, that would shake me, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, not only does it show this person's like potentially violent, but then also it's just like a huge waste of your money and
That's really annoying.
It's yuck on many different
levels. They just got
levels,
away with
but-
it is so cooked.
Yeah, I would mainly care. Like, I would say to the dude that she was obviously dating, I would say I'm not literally coming to this house until you change the locks.
yeah,
'cause
exactly.
that is super freaky, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to sleep knowing that someone
Yuck.
could come into your house. It's horrible.
Yucky
So
person.
I'm sorry that you had to go through that, and not nice at all. And I hope the locks have been changed. All right, this one says revenge on an ex. He cheated on me and was the biggest narcissist ever. So he had gotten a hair transplant and was using this medical-grade hair serum which he bought off his surgeon for a lot of money. The serum looked and felt like water, so naturally I emptied the bottles and refilled them with water. For best results, it said, he was meant to use the serum for 2 years. Holy moly. You guys...
What's with all the hair-related?
You girls...
lots of hair-related revenge.
There's a lot of lads that are self-conscious about their hair and trying to fix it.
Receding hairline revenge.
And you girls are just not letting them do it.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that one...
But also, like, honestly, I don't know.
Jad just thinks if it starts with he cheated on me, you got free reign.
Well, yeah,
You can do
sorry.
whatever you want.
That is the biggest form of betrayal.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I just... Some of these things are like... He might need to take that serum, for example, to make everything, sort of set in place.
Sounds
or
like he
regrow.
does.
I don't know how it works,
Yeah.
but like imagine that serum, obviously, it's not going to work. It's water, and then that like inhibits his hair from regrowing, and then he's gone through this surgery and pain and discomfort, and I don't know what it is, maybe $10,000-$15,000 just down the drain. It is a tricky one.
But
feel
if
like
you're in a position where someone's cheated on you, you'd go, yeah, I don't care, because you didn't care about me. That's what you'd do.
you can't speak for everyone.
I think serum replacing not one of the worst ones I've heard. Not one
Yeah,
of those ones.
it isn't one of the worst, but it's still, I feel like when these things happen to you, maybe you need to sit and just process before you act,
Yeah.
Like these things sound like you found out these cheating and then you've done this in the next 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Don't people
Some of
just
these.
sleep with their best friends anymore?
What?
With the person who's cheated on you, sleep with their best friend. Don't people do that anymore?
Are you speaking from experience? Is this a thing?
I've
or-
never done it, but I'm saying, is that not good revenge? Like if you've been cheated on, what happened to the old, just sleep with their friend?
So my thing here was maybe just process and get the emotions out and, deal with it in a different way. Yours was go and root their friend.
People are doing all these elaborate things. I'm saying there's a lot of ways you can hit hard and hit home that are less strategic.
Wow. Okay.
I think that's good advice.
Great advice for our young listeners, guys. Yeah.
No,
awesome.
honestly, the best revenge is always to do better than they are. That's my opinion. That's always made me feel best, is when I feel like I'm succeeding and you're not. That's how I feel.
That's a really different take, but love it.
Okay. The last one says, when I moved out, I took the most inconvenient shit you could think of. I took all the remotes to the TV, aircon, fans. I took the glass plate from the microwave. I took all his phone charging cords. And I also rearranged the cutlery drawer. And I took all the toilet paper. I love that. That's amazing.
That's so annoying.
That's so annoying. It's hilarious because you wouldn't uncover it all straight away. You'd slowly go, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah, some
and
of
you'd
those
think
are
you're
just-
going crazy because you'd look for it thinking it's just in the room, right? Like the remotes,
Oh, I reckon after if you're going for one or two and
the
you can't
glass
find them,
plate
you'd
in the
think-
microwave.
Like some of them are
Genius.
funny, some of them are dumb. Like rearrange the cutlery drawer. That was just a waste of your own time. That's achieved nothing. He's going to put the cutlery in the dishwasher and he's going to rearrange the drawer. Took all the toilet paper. Annoying if he has a tough night
Just
on
come
the
home and go
toilet,
to
but
the toilet.
probably be able to
No TP.
figure stuff out. But yeah, I would say more the TV, aircon, fans.
Yeah, that's funny.
Is probably a
And
little
glass
bit more
plate.
convenient
That's good. I wouldn't have thought of that. I
Well-
like it. I like
Jad
it.
is literally making notes, guys, in her phone.
You can't just buy a glass plate with 3 little divots in it to sit on the spinny thing.
I reckon you could. I reckon if you went eBay, search the model of your microwave, you could get that in 2 minutes. Amazon, you'd probably get it delivered that day.
All right. Okay. Well, stop ruining the fun.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And I love that it wasn't even prefaced with anything like saying he mistreated you, was toxic, narcissist, or cheated. You just said, when I moved out, I did these things.
we
So
don't know what actually happened.
Could have been a great bloke. Yeah, we don't know. But guys, that is all we have for you when it comes to the crazy unhinged things that you guys have done
Thanks
to
for
your
writing
exes. We appreciate you guys being open and honest. As we say, we always keep you guys anonymous. And, I always really thank you guys for sharing, because without these cool stories, we wouldn't be able to share them and have fun and a laugh and create this little community on the pod. So thank you guys for writing in. Now we are ending our episode with an Ask Mum and Dad. Now, this section is where Jad and I, try and give you some mature parental advice if you're having any issues with your life.
One of us is a little better at it than the other.
Yeah, we'll let you decide. And if you did want to get in touch or ask us something, you're having something that's going on in your life, you need a little bit of help with, you can either DM myself or email us at madaboutYou@novapodcast.com.au. But this one is a touch longer, so please strap in. But it's multifaceted.
When you say strap in, do you mean like seatbelt, like?
Just a figure of speech, my love.
All right, carry on.
You weren't expecting that, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, awesome. Love your work. All right, says, can I please ask mum and dad for advice? I'm good friends with a guy I work with. He's married with children, and he recently told me his marriage has been on the rocks. I offered my support to both of them as I'm friends with her as well, but he and I are closer due to our hobbies, sports, running, etc. He's recently told me she was unfaithful last year, hence the rockiness of their relationship, but he was committed to their marriage and wanted to work on it. She's officially asked for a separation. He's told me he has developed feelings for me, feelings that were there before she asked for the separation, but he only told me now because their relationship is no longer. Her and I aren't close enough to discuss their relationship, but I feel awful because I have also developed feelings. The feelings were there very slightly before I knew about the separation, however, I maintained a platonic friendship 100%. I obviously don't want to be a rebound nor a catalyst for revenge because she cheated on him. He's assured me that this is not the case. They've been unofficially separated for almost 6 months and not sleeping in the same room, etc. He's recently asked her how she would feel about him possibly dating me. I didn't know he was going to speak to her about it, and I told him I would have preferred to be aware of this convo. I explained my frustration, and he apologized. She said she would like time to think on it, but also expressed she was upset at this, but I don't know at what part, the me part or him moving on too soon. But should I not be doing this? Can you help me unpack this with any advice you have? He and I are very, very similar, lots in common, and get along like a house on fire. Should we wait and continue the friendship only and let the dust settle? Or should we make sure that it isn't just a rebound, call it quits and just only be friends? Or do I go for it respectfully, of course?
Dust settle, then give it a go.
Yeah, I think you've done zero wrong.
Yeah.
And to be honest, he hasn't done anything wrong either. So, like, you
Yeah.
guys are free reign.
It's actually quite respectful to ask the old partner. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it
not many
sounds
people
like
would do that.
it sounds like a very
You don't
sort
owe
of
her
amicable
anything.
situation. I'm actually surprised that he even asked.
Yeah.
If my partner's cheated on me, I would not be really worried about who I'm moving on with. They don't get a say, unfortunately. They've sort of severed that tie to me.
Might be different when kids are involved.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't want to create a tumultuous relationship, perhaps. You're trying to be respectful,
Sure.
even though they've not shown you the same courtesy.
Yeah, sure, that's very true. So he actually sounds like a really good dude, and you sound like a lovely lady as well, because you're tossing up all these things which you probably don't even really need to toss up, because I don't think he's in the wrong really anywhere, and neither are you. So,
But I still think in these scenarios, it's always best to give it a bit of space first. Let that person get over that. Obviously, that's a big relationship to get over. Long-term partner and kids. Give it a bit of space.
also still living together is
Yes,
probably puts a bit of a spanner in the works.
Oh,
for you.
absolutely. You don't want to get entangled in that. So I think just give it some space. Maybe let him know that, hey, I have feelings for you. I just don't think now is the right time. And I think that will benefit you long term if you actually really care about this person and do want it to work and see it potentially happening.
Yeah. I
That's
like
my
that.
advice.
And I think, you've said that you guys get along like a house on fire. You like all the same things. And, you both were very respectful in the whole scenario of not even telling each other about potential feelings until things were all done and dusted. And yeah, as Jad said, I think maybe living with an ex-partner would make it really hard for a relationship to progress in a positive way. So perhaps you say, look, yeah, as Jad said, I've got feelings on you. I wouldn't mind giving it a crack, but maybe you need to sort a few things out,
Yes.
like, finding your own place or space,
absolutely.
or, things that might make it easier for your relationship to be, successful, because, I would really struggle to date someone who is still living with an ex-partner. I think that would just be a weird concept to wrap your head around.
It would get messy, I think.
Yeah, but it's an interesting situation. Great question. Thanks for writing in. And I think you go for it. Just give it a little bit of time first, and we look forward to hearing how it comes out. Because it sounds like you found a good dude, and you sound like two good eggs that have found each other.
Don't rush it, and remember, if they are the one, then you've got all the time in the world with the rest of your lives together. So just take your time with this part.
And that's beautiful, Jad. That's lovely.
Thanks, honey.
I like that we agreed. That's nice.
Yeah, that's rare.
Guys, that was an easy one. We both agreed and came to the conclusion real fast.
Should we high five?
But it was a long question. I thought we'd have a little bit more debate about that. But I'm fine with that. We're actually too far to high five.
You didn't even try. You didn't even move forward a little bit.
I'm fine with that.
You didn't meet me in the middle. That was not very marital of you.
Okay. Guys, love having you with us. It means a lot that you guys check in every week to our loyal listeners. Thank you for sharing your stories. We hope you are enjoying Mad About You. If you did want to leave us a review, it means a lot. And we always read the comments on Spotify, and they make us giggle most of the time. So we appreciate you guys, and we look forward to chatting next week.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.